Yo, hello universe. Alright, I have my little Xrider with me with a bit of an update. I've designed my own molds for a body for the bike for no other reason that I just wanted to see how it could be done. The mold is in two pieces. I have the bubble, the front of the bike, and then the entire body with the rider, and then the helmet. I'm using the original helmet from the Mars rider, who has been decapitated. And well, it's trial and error. I have never done body for the bikes before. On paper it looked alright the way it was at the bottom with a very wide bottom part here. I suspected it might be a problem, and it was a problem right away because of course the side sticking out too much, the body would hit the ground first and the bike would slide. So I have done some slicing and cutting, and now the body is tucked in left and right, so it's pretty much as narrow as the original one. The other thing that did not work was the lovely little feet of the rider. They was just scratching on the floor, so he had to be amputated on both sides, but that's no big deal. I mean, the main thing for me was to try to have something a little bit vintage to drive. Bikes haven't changed as drastically as cars, and I think this is kind of a era in the 80s where the bikes were in between what the super bikes looked like from the 90s until now, and they were quite different from the 70s and 60s. So I loosely based my design on an Agusta, an MV Agusta 500, with my own twist on it, but pretty much the proportion of the bubble, the position of the rider, where it's sitting on the bike, so on and so forth. It's quite different from the Xrider, where the rider is really leg above the roll bar here, and the legs are very high, and his butt is pretty much over here. So this is much more lean back. It looks really cool on the track. I tried to bring my FPV camera today. Sadly, one of the solder was broken, so I couldn't film anything. I think I'll try to do some more shooting tomorrow with it, but my driving was so horrendous today that I think it's better I didn't drive. Since changing the body, I really had to rework on the setup of the bike. It was set up to drive fairly well with the original Mars body. It behaves quite differently with this. Not sure why, because it's not really, there's no difference in weight or anything, but I don't know, something was different today. So I think I have a better setup now than I had earlier today, and so if everything goes well tomorrow I'll be able to shoot. But let me just have with you a little look around that bike. My son really had to have the sticker on that, so here it is. It's one of those RC Mart sheet sticker from their RC Mart sheets. I'm running those. I guess they're nylon. Those are actually part of the chassis for an RJ Speed's pan car. It's not really a pan car actually. It's the cars that have like two rail and then those bars in between to strengthen it. And so I just bent it with some hits. It threaded over here and over here. I was running simply a bearing with a spring this morning, and it worked well. It's just a little bit aggressive, so I'm going to try with a rubber wheel tomorrow, and if it's too grippy then I'll go back to simply a bearing. The plastic alone doesn't do as well as the bearing for some reason. The metal seems to be a bit more forgiving and sliding on the track that I'm driving. And what can I say about that? Well, you can see all the little detail I try to put in. I kept all of the original holes for the body mounts for the bike, so it would technically be a fit for any Mars. I don't know if I'm going to put this on the store. just because it's a serious pain to release these parts from the mold. It should release easier. Maybe I need to do a couple more run, but I see if there is positive feedback on that body, then why not put a few of them. But anyway, I haven't changed anything on the bike itself. I raised originally the front a little bit this morning. I raised a little bit the mounting of the fork. It is back now to stock again. The back is a little bit raised as well. It used to be a little bit more down, but yeah, I think that's what really changes the characteristic of the bike. And I had a very kind of flat damper at the back. Now it's a little bit more high because I think with the center of gravity getting up, the setup that I had was it was not great. For some reason, it would at slow speed it would turn and it would kind of hop like that. Like it would be quite aggressive at the rear. So I'm trying a different setup tomorrow for the rear damper and probably bring a couple of springs as well. But I really like the way you have this little bucket at the back that goes. The wheel wells really can encapsulate the wheel, and so when you have a nice wheelie in a straight line, this thing looks really cool. And overall on the track, it's really gorgeous from far away. I mean, it's not, you know, the proportions are correct, but the chassis itself, like the angle of the fork in front should be different. Everything should be a little bit different, but I try to fit a blueprint on top of the Xrider and not worry too much. I just want to have something, you know, that looks vintage on the track with a nice long bubble and the guy standing a little bit more upright. I try to do like a somewhat, I wouldn't say realistic, but from far away the driver looks convincing. It has all the little bend in the clothes. There is some kind of handlebars on front of the tank. I have the little feed here for the fuel tank. I have this that it would be part of the structure, the chassis of the bike. Originally, I've cut a hole here because I realized that the pulley was actually removing the paint, so there's that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully I will have a running video tomorrow. It is without feet. The feet were looking great, but it honestly makes zero difference when the bike is driving. The feet are not there. And yeah, that's just a little look at my updated Xrider, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to have my camera repaired and shoot a couple of run and not drive too much like an ass, so you can see what this thing looks on the track. Recently, the weekends at the track have been almost entirely bikes. So like this morning I drove, there must have been probably 15, it's all Kyosho hang-on riders, nobody drives anything else here, and I drive like a turd, so I'm fighting my way through the crowd of bikes, but it looks cool in the crowd. And yeah, all right, so hopefully I'll be able to do a little driving video of that tomorrow. I'm gonna keep going through all the little bolts that get loose. I've lost a few screws in the mounting of the rims, those tiny 2M screws. And yeah, so here we are, hopefully with a running video when I don't make too much of a fool of myself tomorrow, and hope that gives you a bit of inspiration for today. So see you, bye.